Cascading KPIs Introduction. When you look at the organizational structure, you have a delegation of work and cascading of responsibility. In the very same way, you have to define KPIs. So let's have a look at an example of our organizational structure. So let's say we have a CEO to whom 4 directors report. Then those directors obviously have some managers below them. And then this manager has some specialist reporting to him. So in the very same way, we create the structure of KPIs for the whole organization. So we start with a certain business goal. Then on the basis of that, we define the KPIs. So for example, for the director we've got the KPI B, and then for managers reporting to him. And on the basis of the KPI defined for this director, we defined KPIs for his managers, and we do exactly the same for the lower level of specialists. So for every manager, we take his KPI, and on the basis of that, we define the KPIs for the specialist. So as you can see, in this way, we can cascade the business goals through the whole organizational structure to the lowest level of specialist. So that will be the whole philosophy behind cascading of KPIs. Obviously, if you cascade KPIs, there is a higher chance that the whole organization will be going into the right direction. Now let's move to a short case study that you will be asked to solve. So we are moving back to our case study of a cosmetics producer that has a set of KPIs defined by the supervisor board. We already have made sure that they are aligned. So we had 3 business goals being market cap, low debt level, and high cash flow. And on the basis of that, we have created for the board of directors a set of aligned KPIs. Now, your task is to define for the chief operating officer KPIs that he should delegate to his managers. So he has 3 reporting to him lower level directors: production director, logistic director, purchasing director. And we know that the KPIs for the chief operating officer are EBITDA on products created in their own factories, inventory in days of sales, payables in days of production, and percentage EBITDA. So take a paper and a pencil or a pen and try to define for each and every of those directors the KPIs against which he should be judged. That will be obviously aligned with the KPIs we've got here. Once you're done with that, please move to the next lecture where you find the solution to the case study. Cascading solution to the case. So now let's see how you could solve the case we have introduced in the previous lecture. Just as a reminder, we had KPIs aligned, defined for the CEO and board members, and you were supposed to cascade the KPIs for the chief operating officer, which are defined here, for the 3 directors that are reporting to him. So let's have a look at one of the potential solutions. So we have here the KPIs to the CEO. So market capitalization, EBITDA, debt to equity, operational cash flow to EBITDA. And then chief operating officer was given this KPI. So EBITDA on products created in our own factory, inventory in days of sales, and payables in days of production, as well as percentage EBITDA. When we look at the production director, obviously he can be responsible for the EBITDA on the products created on his own company. The inventory in days has to be somehow limited, and the same goes for percentage EBITDA. So one of the solutions to this case could be like this. So we would have EBITDA on the products created in the factory, which is the cascading of the first KPI, then work in progress in days of production. So he's responsible how much inventory as a work in progress he keeps in the factory. We also added percentage of orders executed according to plan. So right quality, right quantity, right time to link it to the whole company. And so we have, instead of the overall percentage EBITDA, got the percentage EBITDA on factory production. Now let's have a look how we could define it for logistic director. So here we would have again something which we called percentage of orders delivered according to plan to link it to the whole organization. So we would not like to have a situation where he's trying to limit the costs but at the expense of the customer satisfaction or problems in the production. But then again, we want him to be responsible for the costs. So here we define that he has to limit the costs expressed as a percentage of sales. We mean here only the cost of logistics and warehousing. And finally, the average lead time, so how much times it takes him to deliver the goods he's supposed to. So this can be defined both for the raw materials, so from the suppliers to the production, and then to the customers, so from our central warehouse to the warehouse of our customers. And finally, we've got the purchasing director. So here we would again have to limit the KPIs we have for the chief operating officer. So we would have the percentage EBITDA because he is in a sense responsible for the price of the products we buy. He is negotiating with suppliers. then we would like to make him responsible for the inventory of raw materials in days of production. In this way, he will help us keep the cash flow high, and the same goes for payables in days of production. Since he is talking with the suppliers, he has a huge impact on that. So as you can see, we took the KPIs defined for the Chief Operating Officer and we cascaded it for directors reporting to him.